We all need ways to make more money right now because with the cost of living crisis that we're living in and the high inflationary cycle that we've been through, high prices on everything, one of the best ways that you can combat that for yourself and deal with the stress that that causes is by bringing in more income for yourself and your family. And in today's video, I'm showing you 5 ways that you can use to be able to bring in passive income for yourself and your family. And when I say passive, the way I define this is passive-ish. So what we're looking at is that there is an investment of time, of your money, and so forth before you're going to be able to see a return on your investment. So it's not completely like no work. So don't take it that way in the sense that this is something that's just going to magically make more money for you, but just with a fairly minimal amount of initial effort or initial investment, and then that passive income stream is then going to be able to create income for you every week or every month, hopefully on a pretty consistent basis for a very long time. So kind of like evergreen income, if you want to think about it that way. And the great thing about this and why it's so popular right now too, is because we're living in this time where there's a lot of uncertainty in the jobs market in certain industries such as tech, which has been seeing a lot of layoffs in the last couple of years. And so especially if you're in an industry like tech where you're sort of wondering, is my job secure? It's really important to have those multiple income streams. And so the passive ones are really nice because you're not having to go out and work and trade your time for money every single time on these things. These are pretty much this list, and I'll do more videos on this, but this list of passive income ideas is something that I think is really quite straightforward, something that's pretty approachable for almost everyone, except for one category, which I'll get to in a minute, that's a little more challenging right now. But everything else is definitely something that no matter what stage in life you're in, and no matter where you are with your finances, you can take advantage of these passive income sources. So let's dive right in. So number 1 is high yield savings accounts. Now this has to be the best source of passive income that I have personally found in the last few years. So savings accounts are something where you can just put your money in, it's at a bank, it's insured by the FDIC, typically up to $250,000 per depositor. And so this is not an investment vehicle. This is a savings account at a bank. And I will link in the description below to a list of the top high yield savings accounts right now. Most of them are averaging about 5% annual percentage yield, so APY, which is really great if you consider that I think most savings accounts right now at other banks and even some checking accounts have some interest on them as well, but typically just savings accounts are running about 0.46% right now. So high yield savings accounts, if you can get 5%, that's so much better. So this is something that I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of this year. And most high yield savings accounts will let you have a $0 opening fee, so no opening fee, and also no monthly maintenance fees. There are a few out there that try to charge you a lot to open them and a lot of maintenance fees to get you that 5% or 6% APY or annual percentage yield. And so don't go for those. Just keep looking around because you can do better than that. And you can find ones that have a relatively small or zero cost to you to open them. And then you just put your money over there and get 5% back. So how great is that to be able to have that as an option for something that isn't something you have to worry about because it's not on the stock market, it's not in investments, and it's just, now the banks can change those percentage yields over time, so you do want to kind of keep an eye on those. Those aren't guaranteed forever. They definitely fluctuate, and they're also going to be based on your credit score. So just check out and see what your options are there, but that's probably the absolute easiest way to get 5% back on your money in your savings account right now. The second passive income stream idea for you that I have is dividend-paying stocks. So this is over on the stock market, obviously. This is something that you're going to buy through your investment portfolio. The investment platform that I personally use is E-Trade, and this isn't sponsored by them or by Morgan Stanley, but E-Trade is a really fantastic trading platform that I've been using on and off for the last 10 years, and more so in the last about 1.5 years, 2 years since I've gotten really serious about my investing strategy and building my my portfolio. But E-Trade is really nice because what it is it's just a completely free trading platform that you can open an account, and then you can really educate yourself very thoroughly about all kinds of different investments options out there. So you can research stocks, you can research bonds, you can research exchange traded funds, ETFs. You can look at money market mutual funds, which are just funds that are basically cash investments on the stock market, and on and on and on. And so E-Trade, I feel like, has like the absolute best amount of just data that you can mine and really get into and really be able to read through so much information about these different companies. And they also have something called Morningstar ratings for their exchange traded funds or their ETFs. And so you can do a lot of research on that as well. And so that's another way to build passive income, is to invest in either individual companies that pay dividends, or even better, into ETFs that pay dividends, because that way, rather than just buying into one company, you're buying into a basket of companies, and then you can get dividends off of that. If you go over to E-Trade and do a bunch of research, you'll even find under Morningstar's ratings, they even have ETFs that are high dividend paying ETFs. And so that's really nice too. So anyway, lots of options for you there, but that's a great resource if you want to get started with investing and looking specifically for things that pay good dividends to you. Now, the thing is, you have to have quite a bit of money invested in the stock market before you're going to get a lot of money in dividends alone over the course of a month or a year. When I was looking at this, apparently, according to Yahoo Finance, the S&P 500 historically yields 2% in dividends. That's not the rate of return off the stock market, but just in terms of what dividends get returned to investors. So you would need to have $600,000 invested to get just $1,000 per month or $12,000 per year back in dividends. So obviously, you have to have quite a chunk of change in the stock market to make a lot of money off of dividends. So initially, this isn't going to be a big income stream for yourself, but it's definitely something to look into if you're going to invest anyway, to look into things that will pay you dividends, and you'll get cash just for having your money there on the stock market. And definitely check with a certified investment advisor as well, as you have questions about structuring your portfolio. It's not something I advise about here on my channel, but there are many, many resources here on YouTube and elsewhere that will teach you how to be a savvy investor. So that's another way you can build passive income. Number 3 is real estate. Now, real estate is my one that I was speaking about earlier, that you can definitely get into real estate investing, but it's all about two things. One is the price that you pay for the home. And right now, with home prices being so astronomically high across the United States and across a lot of the world, right now is probably not the ideal time to be buying up rental properties that you're planning to turn around and rent back out and be able to get passive income from rent from your tenants, just because you will probably be massively overpaying for this property because home prices have just gotten so high. And I don't know what is going to happen here in the next 12 to 18 months with the potential maybe recession that a lot of economists are forecasting. So I don't know if we go into a downtick, what that will do to the housing market, if that's going to drop housing prices. I have no idea. But right this second isn't the best time ever to buy a real estate investment, just because of the high cost of housing. The mortgage interest rates are still super high. So unless you come across a real bargain, this may not be the best time to get into it. And obviously, you have to have the capital to be able to make the down payment on the home. And that's something that a lot of people don't have right now either. But if you have capital that you want to invest in rental property, you find a good deal, it can be really amazing. My second caveat on this is, do not buy a rental property in a homeowners association, or what we call an HOA. Now, I don't know if they have homeowners associations globally, but it's a thing here in the United States, and particularly in the state where I live. And so you definitely want to make sure that when you are buying a property that you plan to rent out over a period of time, that it is not in an HOA. And here's why. So HOAs have a lot of legal power, and they can actually prevent people from renting out their own homes in that neighborhood. It's called a leasing cap. And if they don't have one when you move in and buy your home, they can put one in later at any time. And so it's really tricky because it works out well perhaps for the other homeowners who are living in the neighborhood, because sometimes rentals tend to get a little bit run down if people don't keep up with them and things like that. But it's not so great for you as a property investor if you're suddenly told, oh, hey, we just put a leasing cap in place and now you can't rent your house out, or you can rent your house out, but now there's like fees and there's all these stipulations and you have to submit an application and all of a sudden there's a ton of red tape. So definitely something to consider. It was a point that was brought up by this phenomenal book called Rental Property Investing. This book, if you're considering getting into rental property investing, do yourself a favor and pick up Brandon Turner's book, because he is the founder of the Bigger Pockets podcast, and it's all about rental investing. So you can watch that on YouTube and tune into that on podcasts with the Bigger Pockets podcast. But this book is everything you need to know, basically, if you're thinking about real estate investing, because obviously, if you have the capital to put down the down payment, if the home's not in an HOA and you get the home for a good price, real estate over time tends to appreciate really nicely, and rent continues to go up as, rent in your area rises. So it can be a wonderful source of passive income, and you can be completely passive if you want to, because you can hire a property manager to manage your property, and then you're not having to respond to calls from the tenants about issues with the home or plumbing leaks or things like this. So you can have it be as hands-off as you want to, but there's just some caveats with real estate investing that you should be aware of first. The Bigger Pockets podcast, I'll link to the book and their website down below as well. They have actually a whole forum online for real estate investors, people that are looking at getting into it. But real estate historically has been a really great way to build your wealth, just because it tends to appreciate over time. And it's also insured with your homeowner's insurance. So unlike your investment on the stock market, say, that can go up and can go down and it's not insured by anybody, your home is an insured asset. So for that reason, I really, really like a lot of things about rental property investing. I'm not a rental property investor myself at the moment, but it's something I'm staying open to for sure as I grow my wealth. But that's something to really pay attention to. Pick up Brandon's book if you're considering this at all. And then number 4 is real estate investment trusts. So you might say, okay, what's the difference between physical real estate investing, real estate investment trusts? What is that? So the 4th passive income stream is basically a way that you pay a company, you pay your money into what's called a REIT, or real estate investment trust. And it's just a corporation, and there's lots of them, but it's a corporation that owns all kinds of different rental properties. So they don't just own physical rental properties for residential use. They own apartment complexes, they own commercial properties, they'll own the storefronts that businesses are in, they'll own hospitals, all this kind of stuff. And so then what they do is they own the properties, they deal with all the physical kind of management issues with the properties, and they give their investors back the returns. And legally, REITs are legally required to give 90% of their taxable income back to their investors. So it can be quite a nice deal for you, because if you don't want the hassle of getting into real estate, physical real estate yourself, having to be a homeowner, having to find tenants, having to hire a property manager, keep up with home maintenance, all the things that can really, drain your bottom line basically, and any return on your investment from a physical property. Instead, you might look at a REIT, because you can buy them on the stock market. You just go to E-Trade or whichever investment trading platform you work on and look into the REITs, because they're publicly traded on the stock market. You can buy them and sell them. And that way you can do a lot of research on what kind of fundamentals is going on for that trust, and kind of how they've performed over time, what kind of benefits they've given back to investors, and so forth. So that's a really good option if you either don't have the capital to invest up front right now, or the headache of owning a physical property just sounds like too much work, and you're like, that's not passive enough for me, I want something truly passive. REITs are a really nice way to get into real estate investing and have it be quite a passive income stream for you. And then the 5th and final passive income-ish idea for you here is to publish on Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP. This is something I'm currently exploring, and I'm going to link to a resource for you down in the description box from a Instagram account called Amazon KDP Queen. And her name is Sue Irvin, and I'll link to her website as well. She has a really affordable course online that I've actually signed up for myself. And it's very simple. You just buy the course, and then it's a bunch of slideshows that she's put together to show you how to successfully publish and sell really easy things to put together on Amazon KDP. So if you're creative and you enjoy design and you enjoy writing, what she's done is she's not putting together full books or anything like that. She's putting together like journals and diaries and things like that, planners, just really straightforward things. And she uses Canva to be able to design the covers, puts them together, and puts them out there on the KDP platform. And she has figured out a way to make 6 figures selling this and other products on Amazon. And she shares her secrets through her online courses. And there's obviously lots of videos on YouTube as well, completely for free, about how to sell on Amazon, how to sell on KDP. But that is another really good option for you as well, because you create the product once. Let's say you put together a journal, for example, and you put something out there, you figure out the list price, you list it, and then Amazon has some of the best royalties of all the publishing industries out there. They give you 70% back on royalties minus whatever shipping fee that they're going to charge to ship the book or the journal or whatever it is out to the customer. And so you're not there having to ship anything directly to the customers. They just click on Amazon and it's out there. And so that's a really interesting idea too. The other thing that Sue teaches you how to do is something called right to market. So she teaches you how to do market research and figure out what people are searching for on KDP and specifically, or on Amazon. And if they're looking for, say, a journal, or they're looking for a workbook, or they're looking for a particular kind of notebook or something like that, there's all these different searches that you can go look up and see what are people searching for, and then design into that space, design something for that particular market need, and then that helps optimize your sales. So anyway, check out her course if you're interested in learning more about how to do this, and also lots of good free resources on how to sell on Amazon as well. But that's another thing where, again, you're putting in fairly minimal amount of effort and energy. We're not talking writing full-length books here, although you can do that too, obviously. But we're talking about designing really basic, little, easy to pick up and grab and go type things that people are buying already, that you just design for and bring to market that way, thanks to Amazon's self-publishing platform. Okay, well, that is 5 passive income stream ideas for you. Let me know in the comments what other ways you've found to make passive or passive-ish income for yourself. I'd be really interested to hear from you, so please let me know in the comments, and I will see you again soon in my next video.